The shadow of Blackwood Manor. Blackwood Manor. A name whispered with fear and trepidation. Locals spoke of it in hushed tones, avoiding eye contact. It stood on a windswept moor, shrouded in perpetual mist. A brooding Gothic structure, its stone walls stained with the grime of ages. Some said a darkness resided within, a malevolent entity clinging to the house's rotten timbers. Many had entered seeking answers or thrills. Few returned, and those who did bore the mark of Blackwood on their souls. This was no ordinary house. It was a place where the veil between worlds thinned, where the echoes of the past bled into the present. A place where fear was not just an emotion, but a living, breathing presence. Curiosity's call. They were a group of friends drawn together by a shared thirst for the unknown, always seeking the next adventure. There was Liam, the skeptic, always ready with a logical explanation, never one to believe in the supernatural. Emily, the historian, fascinated by the stories and legends surrounding the manor, always eager to uncover the past. And then there was Ben, the thrill-seeker, eager to experience the adrenaline rush of fear, always chasing the next high. They had heard the whispers, the tales of Blackwood Manor, a place shrouded in mystery and darkness. Dismissed them as folklore, local superstition, stories meant to scare children. But something about the place called to them, a siren song of the macabre, an irresistible pull they couldn't ignore. So, on a night thick with fog and foreboding, they crossed the threshold into Blackwood's chilling embrace, hearts pounding with anticipation. Their breath hung in the air, forming ghostly plumes, each exhale a visible testament to the cold. The silence was absolute, broken only by the crunch of gravel beneath their feet, each step echoing in the stillness. As they approached the house, a palpable chill settled over them, a sense of unseen eyes watching their every move, making their skin crawl. Whispers in the dark. The air inside was heavy, thick with the smell of decay and dust. The faint moonlight filtering through the grimy windows did little to pierce the oppressive gloom. Each footstep echoed in the cavernous halls, a stark reminder of the emptiness that surrounded them. As they explored, an uneasiness settled over the group. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, too faint to decipher, yet undeniably present. Shadows danced at the edge of their vision, fleeting glimpses of movement that vanished when they turned their heads. Liam, ever the pragmatist, tried to rationalize the strange occurrences. Drafts, he said, tricks of the light. But even he couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. They reached a room at the end of the hall, its door slightly ajar, creaking as it moved. Drawn by an unknown force, Emily pushed the door open, revealing a dusty old nursery, untouched for years. A rocking horse stood frozen in mid-motion, its paint chipped and faded, a silent witness to forgotten times. A crib lay empty, its bars cold and metallic, casting long shadows in the dim light. And on the wall hung a large ornate mirror, its surface tarnished with age, reflecting the room's eerie stillness. As Emily stepped closer to the mirror, a chill ran down her spine, her breath visible in the cold air. She could have sworn she saw a figure reflected in its depths, a fleeting image of a woman in a white dress, her face obscured by shadow, almost as if she was trying to communicate. She called out to the others, her voice trembling, echoing in the silent room. "Did you see that?" she asked, her eyes wide with fear, searching their faces for confirmation. Liam, ever skeptical, dismissed it as her imagination playing tricks on her, shaking his head. But Ben, his face pale, swore he had seen it too, his voice barely a whisper. The night wore on, each passing moment ratcheting up the tension as if the very air was thick with dread. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, morphing into disembodied voices that seemed to call their names, echoing through the darkened halls. Objects moved on their own, sending chills down their spines as if unseen hands were at play, manipulating their surroundings. A cold, unseen hand brushed against Liam's cheek, leaving behind a trail of ice, making him shiver uncontrollably. They found themselves trapped in the house, every exit seemingly sealed, as if the house itself was alive and determined to keep them inside. Panic began to set in, their initial bravado replaced by a primal fear, a fear that gnawed at their very souls. Blackwood Manor was toying with them, revealing its true nature, slowly and deliberately, as if savoring their terror. The climax came in the dead of night when the clock struck midnight, and the house seemed to come alive with malevolent energy. A blood-curdling scream echoed through the house, followed by the deafening crash of breaking glass, shattering the silence. They rushed towards the sound, their hearts pounding in their chests, only to find Emily lying on the floor, her eyes wide with terror, her body trembling. They didn't need to ask what had happened. The look on Emily's face, the sheer terror etched into her features, told them all they needed to know. Whatever darkness resided within Blackwood Manor had revealed itself, and it was not something they could comprehend, let alone confront. They fled, their screams swallowed by the night, echoing in the distance, ran blindly through the endless corridors, desperate to escape the clutches of the house, stumbled through the grounds, each one convinced that the shadows themselves were reaching out to claim them. Finally, as the first rays of dawn pierced the oppressive darkness, they stumbled out of the gates of Blackwood Manor, battered, bruised, and utterly broken by their harrowing experience. They never spoke of that night again. The events were too horrific, too deeply ingrained in their psyches. Blackwood Manor had left its mark on them, an invisible scar that time could not heal. Liam, the skeptic, was a changed man, his rational mind shattered by the undeniable proof of the supernatural. Emily, the historian, retreated into her research, desperately seeking an explanation for what they had witnessed. And Ben, the thrill-seeker, never sought out danger again, forever haunted by the memory of that night. Blackwood Manor remained, a brooding testament to the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of our world. A warning to those who dared to delve too deeply into the unknown. For some doors are best left unopened, and some secrets are best left buried.